is mortal must put on immortality. So the bodies that we're going to be put in, the bodies that Yahawashi is going to give us, we're never going to die. We're never going to have a pain. Our vision is going to work perfectly. Our hearing is going to work perfectly. We're going to be perfect, just like Yahawashi is perfect. Okay? And that is our hope, man. That is our hope. That is part of the reward that we're going to receive for being faithful in this truth while we're trapped. Just like Jude said, while we're being reserved, trapped in these everlasting chains. Okay? One day we're going to be free from those everlasting chains. Yahawashi is going to free us. Because we're never going to die. Once we put in those bodies that Yahawashi is going to bring, we're never going to die. We're never going to be sick. And that's going to fulfill the scripture in Revelation where it is written, He shall wipe away all tear from their eyes. And that pertains to us Israelites, beginning with the elect. See, this is part of our glory, you know. So it ain't just the kingdom of heaven, all right? That's added to our glory, the kingdom of heaven. The main glory, if you ask me, is being put in a body where you're 100% perfect. You can't tell me that that doesn't eclipse all glory. Being put in a body where you're 100% perfect after experiencing the nightmare that we experience in this body. Okay?
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
Rawchaa, Yahawashi, Rawchaa, Yahawah, Rawchaa, Yahawah, Rawchaa, Yahawashi. Alright, Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel. You Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. I want to give all praises to Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi, Barak Yahawah, Barak Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who led me to this truth and been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect and to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we part of that number. Lord willing, is be edifying to those who fear the name of the Lord and are striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 5. It is not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 9 is unto a ring. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 verse 42. So the water for everybody who's tuning in or comes after on the common boy, Yahawashi Atham. Are you sincere believers in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi? So we're going to deal with some things the Lord put the Spirit on me to deal with. Before I go to the plantation as usual. And we're going to go be dealing with World War III has already begun. America, the Godless society, and the lessons of history and various end-time topics. Because we know, according to Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9, that history repeats itself. So we're going to go into an article that somebody did concerning this, and we're going to also filter in some scriptures with it, and we got some other various end-time topics. So Lord willing, is edifying to the flock, because we know, like I said, according to Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9, you know, what happens once, what shall be done again. And that's why you got these Edomites out here, these so-called white men, they always say what? History repeats itself. And if you go look also into the you know, since the time at America, Babylon Great has been established, they have had a war every 80 years. So around 80 years ago, really 81 to be exact, because sometimes it's a little longer than the others. Sometimes it started a little later or a little earlier, depending on what the Lord wants to do. But since World War II, it's been 80 years. And right now, we're starting World War III, man. That's what's happening, but it hasn't been over here yet. So people aren't understanding the severity of what is happening. You know, this is why we say the Lord's judgment is a ring. It is coming back upon Idumea, the Edomites, the so-called white man. So we're going to get started right here. We're going to deal a little bit with this, then we're going to put in some precepts after we deal with this in another article. So it says, like I said, World War III has already begun, claims Ukraine's security chief as conflict rages on. So Ukraine's Donalov said, if somebody thinks that the conflict in Ukraine is about settling scores between Kyiv and Moscow, then it's a mistake. The head of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, Alexei Danilov, on Wednesday said that World War III is already underway as ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict has dragged the other countries into the conflict. Didn't it say that the least of them shall bring, the least of the flock shall bring them out? Right? Who's that? The elites, man. Okay, because all the wars are funded by the elites. Whatever side, they're both funded by the elites, man. Amalek, the first descendants of Esau, man. The Rothschilds, these big major banking companies. Speaking at the Kyiv Security Forum on September 5th, Danilov said that the Western military alliance NATO would need Ukraine as a member amid the global turbulence, which is in its full momentum. Kyiv will strengthen the NATO further, said the head of the Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council. So it says, this is what he quoted, if somebody thinks that World War III hasn't started, then it's a huge mistake. It has already begun. It had been underway in a hybrid period for some time and has now entered into an active phase. So it's been like this. Okay, there's some people that claim that it's happened since 2001, you know, since 9/11. But hey, you know, all we know is that this is just showing that these devils understanding that this period of time is coming, man. And the scriptures have literally stated that this war was going to come. Okay? And now we're seeing it in the headline news. So Danilov Press speaking in a presence of CIA Director General David Petraeus. Okay? He said that let's see what else he said. He said, if anybody thinks, right, it's been a mistake. Things are much more complicated. But Petraeus, meanwhile, claimed that it hadn't been witnessed he hadn't witnessed a conflict so vast of its scale. I haven't seen anything like it since when? World War II. And we're going to read in the scriptures where it talks about these woes, this great destruction. That's what it's talking about, these wars, man. And the CIA Director General, as per RT World, the Russians are not particularly impressive in terms of knowledge or performance on the battlefield, but they have created a rather outstanding defense system, and it is quite difficult to punch it through. Okay, so they can't fuck with Russia, and when everybody else, when we read in Ezekiel, joins with Russia, man, they gonna blow this place up, man. And you got Jake. They want to feel sorry for these wicked ass Edomites. Like, you shouldn't be telling people that. No, we're prophets. We're supposed to tell your ass that so you can know you're in some shit. Okay? They're all talking about to Israel, that you know that you need to come back to the ways of the Lord. So we're going to go over here, and then we're going to put in some precepts, and we're going to break this down. It says China's military targets, while they over there battling with Russia, China's military targets American troops, veterans for exploitation campaign. General says, right? Now I want to look up this word exploitation real quick. Okay, before we get started. This is a very big topic among Israelites right now. We're seeing this stuff happen. Exploitation, right? Bear with me.
Exploitation,
right? It says an action or fact of treating someone unfairly in order to benefit from their work. Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? Didn't that what Esau Edom did? The so-called white man to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians. This is why it's being done under them. An action of making use and benefiting from resources, man. And that's why I said through thy traffic, they have gained the riches. So now, since China has followed in their footsteps and is doing the same thing, they doing it to them. So we're going to watch a little bit of this and then we're going to get into some precepts. You know, Lord willing, it plays. See if it ain't gonna play, we'll go down and read real quick till it pop up. It says China is targeting current and former U.S. service members as part of an exploitation campaign to fill gaps in its military capabilities. A top general says the complex effort has
if
detailed.
You have even one migrant day a week, that's 52.
Hold on. All right. If it pops up, we'll play it, but I'm not thinking it's real slow right now. I'm not liking how slow it is. Just bear with me. Let's see what they say. It's only 4 minutes. We ain't gonna watch all of it.
Bring in former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo and founder and executive director at the National Security Institute, Jamil Jaffer. Gentlemen, thank you both. Jamil, I mean, it's kind of weird.
That's
you see the
else.
target.
I ain't even talking about the same thing. Let's just go on down. So it says, complex effort is detailed.
Here going on, it's highly unlikely that Fox News is going to paint China with a very happy brush.
We're just gonna leave that. You know, we ain't gonna talk too much about that, but we'll just read the article down. You can go watch it if you want to. So, complex effort is detailed in the Air Force memo authorized by General Charles Brown or Q. Brown Jr. And distributed on Friday. An Air Force official confirmed to Fox News the Chinese military is national firms that do business with the PRC target and to recruit U.S. and NATO-trained military talent across specialties and career fields. Okay, by essentially training the trainer, many of those who accept contracts with these foreign companies are eroding our national security by putting the very safety of their fellow service members and country at risk, Brown wrote in the memo, which was first reported by Washington Post. He encouraged the service members to safeguard our national defense information even after they leave the armed forces. You see? So it's a lot of people turning on this place, basically. You know, but we don't want to get too much into it. If you want to go read it, we can go read it. But we want to mainly deal with what? World War III has already begun. You got Jake still out here chasing the bag. They don't want to listen to the prophets. They want to have their own teachings and say they're right about everything. So them people, we just like, all right, man, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. What does it matter then? If obviously we're not even considered to be paid attention to what we're saying, then don't worry about it. If you whatever doctrine you say, you ain't saying that the world's finna get, you ain't finna say America Babylon the Great finna get blown up. You ain't saying that, so don't worry about it. It ain't no big deal. This is Revelation chapter 9 verse 12. And this is showing you this stuff was meant to come to happen, man. Like, we know this stuff, man. And it's happening. So Revelation chapter 9 verse 12. One woe is past. What's that? World War I. And behold, there are two woes come hereafter, and we are in that third woe, man. We are at the start of that third woe, according to the scriptures. This is Revelation chapter 14, and I want to start, actually 11. I want to start at 11 and then verse 8 to break down a little bit more what has happened. So Revelation chapter 11 verse 8, it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. What's that? America, Babylon the Great, where our people are mainly spiritually dead. They do not understand this truth, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. See, this is why this is the new Sodom and Gomorrah. This is the same place, man. Okay, and they're going to get destroyed by fire, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. That was a lesson for all of us to know how not to be here. Okay, and you got a lot of sodomy going on here. You got a lot of fruit roll-up flags and all that shit. That's how we know that's where we at. Where also our Lord was crucified. Where was the Lord crucified? Where was Yahawashi crucified? Who everybody ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, even though there ain't been no J's to the 1500s. We know his name's Yahawashi, okay? And he was sacrificed, okay, in Rome. So that's how we know we in the revived Roman Empire. Why? Because you can't go into church and talk about Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. They're going to be like, get out of here. What are you talking about? Even if you make point to them, they'll kick you out, okay? So that's how we know we are in the revived Roman Empire, and various other reasons, but we're not going to deal with those. Verse 9, and they of the people, and also when it talks about those people that lie in the street, in the dead street, that's Ezekiel chapter 37, the valley of dry bones, right? That's all of us scattered across the four corners of the earth, but mainly talking about America, Babylon the Great. Verse 9, and they of the people and kindreds of tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, right? That's that 350 years, and then came around the 1960s. 1969 is, I think, the exact. It's when Abba Bibbins was really heavily pushing this out there. Okay, who we believe is John the Baptist coming back and teaching this truth, man. And shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves, right? And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall sit against one another. What they do, Christmas, birthdays, holidays, that's all because they're glad that the children of Israel fell and they weren't subject to the laws of the Torah no more, okay? Because once we went off, the Lord let them take over us. And he said, okay, I'm going to make a new covenant where you're not everlasting, like literally coming back over and over and over again because you went against these sins and you got to be under these heathens. Okay, that's hell, man. That's what hell is. Okay, and the Lord's going to save us from that hell, dying here over and over again and come back and living this shit out and not even remember it. That's a nightmare, man. Because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. What are those two prophets? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom of Hebrew Israelites, okay? And they were rejoicing because why? Because we weren't teaching for a second. Why? Because it said there had to be a falling away first. It said the whole head is sick, okay? And all of Israel fell away for a bit. But then what happened? After these 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, from Yahawah, entered into them. Through who? Through Yahawashi, right? And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. That's why nobody don't want to talk about it, because they see this shit coming into play, man. You still got some people scoffing, but it ain't as many scoffers as they used to be, man. A lot of people got their damn throat clogged up now. They don't know what to think. Verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them, right? That's us getting into the chariots, Lord willing, to escape this judgment. Verse 13, in the same hour there was a great earthquake, right? And the 10th part of the city fell, and the earthquake was slain of men 7,000. 7,000 means completion. And the remnant, was that? The remnant, the elect of Israel, were frightened and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. You see? So when you go look up that when you go talk about that 10th part of the earth, that's talking about this, man. When I talk about the 10th part of the earth, it's the 10 FEMA zones. Okay? These right here. The 10 FEMA zones. That's what I talk about, the 10th part of the earth. That's all of America, Babylon the Great. I'm talking about that great earthquake that's from the intercontinental ballistic missiles coming from this war coming, man. That's what we're prophesying every day, okay, to our people. We're all telling you this is what it's going to lead up to. This first to be Jacob's trouble, and it's going to lead to the famine of the word, and Jacob's trouble probably going to be happening simultaneously, you know, and then World War III is going to happen, and then simultaneously from this place getting destroyed, the righteous are going to be pulled out of it. That's why I said the righteous shall be scarcely saved, man. They're going to barely make it out of here, man. And said, where's the ungodly and the sinner going to appear? Where? In the lake of fire, man. this place is the lake of fire. Okay, because it's going to be on fire because of what they're finna do. Okay, we're going to get to that in a second. So, like I said, and gave glory to Yahawah. Okay, the power of heaven, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. And then look, Revelation 11 verse 14. The second woe is past, World War II, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. And we see that playing out right now. We literally right here in prophecy. But when you go read in Exodus, there's things that are in Exodus that are happening around that right now too. That's why you can't read the Bible like a novel, man. You can't just be like, I read through the whole Bible, I know what it's talking about. No, you have to have the Spirit of the Lord dealing with you. Okay? And that's why these people don't get it, man. Okay? Because they don't understand that you have to have the Spirit of the Most High enter into you for you to understand how to use these scriptures and apply them correctly. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3. For the vision, right, it's a vision, is yet for an appointed time. And we see, because he said that there were certain woes that were coming past, certain wars. So we know that this appointed time is very close, man. But at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry. Like I said, it's only been a year after the 80 years of World War II. It tarried a little bit. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So he's not going to go off the men's time. He's going to go off his time, because he's facilitating everything. So just because you think something ain't going to happen, that's like they did in 2001. They're like, oh, it didn't happen. Oh, the Lord just he had to pass a couple prophecies. And now they here. And now them people who's talking all that bull biggity, shit, they ain't out here talking no more. So Matthew chapter 24 verse 15, I wanted to put this point out. It says, when therefore ye shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. What are we understanding? That this time right here is not even talking about right now. Okay, this time is actually talking about when we got raided in it, when Israel got raided in 70 AD, it got sieged, okay, by the Roman Empire. Okay, and said, where were ye shall see the abomination of desolation. How do we see it? Because we're reading about it, and we know they took over it, and it was way before we even were born, man. Okay, so this is us coming back, seeing this abomination of desolation through the Spirit. We can see, man, the Lord said we was going to see this, and we reading it, okay, from the last time we was here. Because, like I said, you and your desired lot, and the prophets is subject unto the prophet. So if you're a prophet back then, or you was a believer of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, you will be today. Period. You know, and Lord willing, we until the end. So like it says, verse 16, let them that be which in Judea flee into the mountains. That's talking about them running into Africa. And then they wanted to try to say that we were African Americans. No, we're not. Just because if I'm from Israel and I run into Africa doesn't mean I'm an African now. Okay? They're bugging out. This is Romans chapter 9. Gonna move over. Romans chapter 9 verse 22. And that wasn't the only thing that Daniel spoke of, the desolation of America, Babylon the Great, and all the other kingdoms he spoke of too. And we're seeing them come to pass and play out right now. Okay, that's that prophecy happening over again, once again. So Romans chapter 9 verse 22. What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and make power to his make his power known, Salakia, endured much long suffering, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. See, that's why we must have long suffering, because he put up with all this shit they were doing, all that shit talking, all that bull biggity they was doing. The Lord been chilling, right? And now he's finna do something about it. And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy. Who's that? The elect, which he had prepared unto glory. And we pray to be part of that number. Right? Verse 24. Even us whom he have called, not the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. And those Gentiles are basically the ones that were taken out of the land, which is all of us basically right now. You know? Because when you go look up Gentiles, there's two different Gentiles when you really study into it. And the Gentiles are the basically the ones that were alienated from the land. They have Greek customs, but they are from the seed line of King David, man. They're the seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So they might look like, one of the other nations. Those are those foreign Israelites as well. Okay? But how are we able to determine who's who? Through the Spirit. We're able to determine who's who. Because the heathen's not going to do this work, man. They're not going to do this work diligently and sincerely. Okay? And we know the scriptures say, if you're not doing this with charity and sincerity, you basically just barking. Like, it don't mean shit. So we also going to read this from Ahabamoth. Okay? This is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they that dealt not treacherously with thee. And when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. Right? Talking about Esau, even so-called white man, is going to be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And that's what's happening in so-called white man. All the other nations are dealing treacherously with this place and fucking them over. Okay? That's what we're seeing in these articles as well. Okay? So the water for your precept. We're going to do Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Departing spiritually. For this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even a sore destruction, man. Okay? So that's how we know that we need to be coming out of here, man. Because the Lord is finna do away with America, Babylon the Great. Don't be trying to establish your kingdom here, or your whatever you think that it's not gonna pay off, man. It's gonna get destroyed. So now we're gonna go over here. They got literally in the title wars and rumors of wars, man. These people know the Bible, man. Okay? They know the Bible, man. They know. Okay? They just don't understand it. But we can see. Why? Because we were taught by the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and we're gonna go with them every time. And you can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong if you listen to the counsel of the Lord. So this is Wars and Rumors of Wars, nuclear strike on U.S. threatened by Russian state TV. So Russian Wars and Rumors of War, nuclear strike on U.S. threatened by Russian state TV in response to United States involvement with the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. See, this is how World War III is happening. Why? Because their involvement, okay? If other nations get involved, you got Ukraine getting involved, you got China getting involved. What's that? That's World War III, man. So involvement in conflict between Russia and Ukraine, a Russian state television station threatened nuclear strikes on the United States. Igor Korotchenko, editor of the National Defense newspaper, appeared on Russia One and suggested that Russia should take unprecedented action against the United States, man. But this is precedented. It's been precedented and predicted and prophesied in the Bible. The most important message should send the American. The most important message we should send to the Americans, America, Babylon the Great, Esau, even so-called white man, because they're the ones who control America, is that we will not wage war with you in Europe. Okay, that's what he said in a video shared by Anton Gerasim. I don't know how to say these people's name, man. A Ukrainian internal affairs advisor on X, formerly Twitter. In addition, the Korotchenko, I think I said that, said in response to your attacks on Russian military or civilian facilities, the first strike will be preventative, limited strike against targets on the territory of the United States of America, man. This is part of prophecy, man. Okay? And this is how it is. The Lord speaks it into existence, and we go behind him, and we speak it into existence, and then it gets carried out, man. That's what's happening, man. Okay? But this stuff was written 2,000 years ago. All we doing is finalizing the paperwork. People be like, oh, well, you're speaking into existence. No, this has been dawn to happen since the dawn of time. We just telling your ass to get out the way. And we only telling Israel. Everybody else, we telling you it don't matter what you do. You might as well max on your credit card, cheat on your girlfriend, and just start doing dumb shit and wicked shit, because you're going to die anyways. You can't get out. Don't matter what you do, you're going to get slain. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And it reads, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So Yahawashi was saying, see that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we're seeing it come to pass. Okay, we're seeing them threaten. What are they threatening? They're threatening this right here. This is exactly what they're saying in this article. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 10. And when you read down from verse 1, it talks about all of these nations coming to back up the Medes, which is Russia, man, modern day Russia. You know, Medo-Persia, and Persians is Iran, and who was in the BRICS? Both of them. Okay, this is the Bible happening right in front of our face, and 2/3 still can't see it. Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 10. Thus saith the Lord Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, it shall also come to pass at the same time shall all things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And what's that thought? To destroy all 10 FEMA zones. America, Babylon the Great, all 5,000 square miles is going to look like that. Okay? Through. Okay? That's what's being said. We're not going to change that. That's what the elders and apostles said. We're going to keep telling you until it happens. What else you want to talk about? You know, other than pertaining to the scriptures. Luke chapter 12, verse 51. And it reads, suppose that I am come to give peace on earth, but I tell you, nay, rather division. So we know the Lord is dividing who? The sheeps and the goats. Okay? 2/3 and a third of it, and an elect. And we know also, when you look into it, spiritually, when you look into the tares, it's not just talking about the ones that are from Esau, Edom seed. Spiritually is talking about, the physically is talking about from Esau, Edom seed. Okay, the tares. And then when you look into the spiritual side of it, it's talking about 2/3. Okay, because they basically put themselves in an array where they look like the heathens because they're still doing their customs, they're still eating bacon, they're not coming back and calling on the names of the Lord. So the Lord looks at them as an enemy, and that's why they have to pay the same price. Okay, because they didn't want to repent. Verse 52, from henceforth there shall be 5 and 1 house divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3, man. What that sound like? That sounds like civil war, man. Division, man. Okay, Titus. This is Titus chapter 3, verse 9. And it reads, but what we supposed to be doing? But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. So when it comes to these things, and a lot of questions that people try to ask and stuff, some of that stuff you just, avoid that stuff, man, because what it says, let every man be a liar. Okay, but the word of the Lord be true. So we just here to teach the word of the Lord. Okay, we're not teaching. These are not our words. We're here to teach that. So if you got somebody going contrary to it, just mark them, avoid them, and avoid trying to get in arguments with them. Okay, and stay clear from them. And you can, and also watch them. Watch them. Make sure they not getting in your way, man, and you not getting in theirs. That's what it talks about. It says to mark them and then avoid them, And it talks about also if somebody offends the second time, then you basically from that point, if they not even taking no reproof, you reject them, man. Right here, Titus chapter 3 verse 10. A man that is a heretic after the first and second abomination or admonition, admonition, which means like a warning, reject them, man. Okay, you just got to be like, all right, whatever, bro. Cool. We ain't gonna talk about it no more. Knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinneth, being condemned of himself, man. Okay, and that's what people doing. Most people are not even getting condemned by the law. They getting condemned by their own vain teachings, man. Okay, and that's why we're not dealing with those people, man. This is Jude chapter 1 verse 16. And it reads, these are murmurers, complainers, walking in their own lust, and their mouth speaking great swelling words, because men's persons in admiration because of advantage, right? So they might have a little advantage in the physical world, and they take that and they think that that's what's going, they make it seem like that's they're on to something. And they ain't on shit. Verse 17, but beloved, remember ye words which were spoken before of the apostles of our Lord Yahawashi and Mashiach. Right? Remember those words. Don't worry about what they're saying. Verse 18. How that they told you there should be mockers in the last time, who should walk after their own ungodly lusts. So when they say it's not going to happen in this time, things ain't going down, we got 100 years, man, it ain't going to take 100 years for World War III to pop off. It's already here right now, and it's escalating. Okay, so we know this stuff is about to go down, man. You don't have to explain it too much. So while that's going on, we got the White House announces continuation of national emergency declared on September 14, 2001. So that was 3 days after the 9/11 situation, they declared a national emergency, okay? And this is the continuation. So we're going to read a little bit about this. And most of this is just to keep people in fear, you know? But we're going to read a little bit of this, and we're going to see what it's talking about. Okay, so it says, in wake of the terrorist attacks launched against the United States by Al-Qaeda in 2001, which we know it wasn't them. If you go look and really pay attention, you got the spirit, you know this was all, operated by these demons. President George W. Bush declared a national emergency that led to powers and authorities being adopted to deal with the threat of subsequent terrorist attacks each year since then. The sitting president of the United States continued one additional year of national emergency previously declared, and the White House announced it will be doing it the same today. Okay? So they're doing it again. Okay? That was today. 20 hours ago is what it said. So maybe like yesterday. Sometime around there. But we know our days start at night. So I would say today. Okay? So that's what we're saying then. That's why we do the Shabbats, sundown to sundown. Okay, so we're going to put in some precepts about this. Don't want to get too much into it. It's 2 Chronicles chapter 19, verse 17. Hold on, bear with me. Oh, not 17, verse 7. All right, and it reads, wherefore, now let the fear of the Lord be upon you. Take heed and do it. So we'll be doing the word of the Lord to the best of our abilities. For there is no inequity, right? Sin upon sin with the Lord, our power, Yahawah, Bahasham, Rawchaa, no respect of persons, nor taking of gifts. The Lord will not take a bribe, man. You got to be sincere and on fire for this truth, sincerely. Okay, this is nothing to play with, man. So you gonna say you love the Lord, hey, you better complete that vow, and you better be putting in that work until the end. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 20, verse 29. And the reason the fear of the Most High was on all the kingdoms of those countries, when they had heard that the Lord fought against the enemies of Israel. And that was the last time we was in turmoil with these other nations. You don't think he's going to do it again? Everything else that's happening has been happening again. So there's a 144% chance that this is going to play out again. Okay, this is playing out right now. Okay, and he's starting with his men, just showing you that he is fighting back. Just like Yahawashi did when he was on the scene. He wasn't attacking nobody with the sword. He was out there speaking the words out of his mouth, just like we are today. We following his footsteps. Job chapter 11, verse 14. And it reads, if iniquity, which is sin upon sin, be in thine hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacles. And what's the tabernacles right now? What's the tabernacle? Your body. We're the body of the Most High. Right? Verse 15, for then shalt thou lift up thy face without spot. Yea, thou shalt be steadfast and shalt not fear. See? So we'll be steadfast in this faith. We'll be still. We'll be rooted. Okay? That's what we want to do. Purging ourselves with this word. And then we're not going to have no fear. What's going to happen after we build our faith up enough? because thou shalt forget thy misery and remember it is as remember it as waters that pass away. So eventually, everything that we fear in this truth, things that we've been afraid of, like when you first come to the truth, you get great fear falls upon you. You be terrified, okay? But after you get into this truth long enough, you know, you be rooted and not afraid. So Jude chapter 1 verse 16, let me see what this is. Yeah, I already got that right there. Just making sure. So now we're going to go to Psalms chapter 31 verse 13. Go over here a little bit. And it reads, for I have heard the slander of many. And that's what all they can do, slander the truth. Fear was on every side while they took counsel together against me. They devised to take away my life. Right? And that's what they try to do to King David. And that's what they're trying to do to us. That's what they're going to try to do to us when the time comes down. And there was another article I seen that was talking about the elites are worried because they know no matter what they give, you know, these elites of America, Babylon the Great, they're like, it don't even matter if they give another $1 billion to Ukraine, okay, because they know it's finna fall, you know, because of prophecy. The Lord has got these Russian Edomites going in, man, and they can't overpower them. You know, and what does it say? It says you can't do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Let's pull that up real quick. So even if you are a false prophet, ultimately you working for Yahawashi at the end of the day. Everybody is. You know, the wicked side and the righteous side. Everybody's working for his will. 2 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 8, and it reads, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. So even if you think you coming against the truth, you actually are fulfilling your lot. So this is Psalms chapter 53 verse 5. And it reads, there were they in great fear, where no fear was, for the Most High have scattered the bones of him that encampeth against thee, and has put them to shame, because the Most High have despised them. See, so when we come into this truth, we know that the Lord despises our enemies, so we don't need to be afraid of these people. The Lord controls their bodies. Not worried about what they feeling like. He despised them then, he despised them now. Jeremiah chapter 15 verse 4, and it reads, and I will cause them to be removed from all kingdoms of the earth. This is what happened to us because of Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah, king of Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem, which is, you know, part of, you know, reason why Israel has went into, you know, this certain stage, or there's not certain stage, but this precise stage of us having no kingdom, man. Okay, because of what our kings were doing. Okay, the heads of Israel, they were going off. Even King Solomon, which we know is Yahawashi, you know, he was Yahawashi. You know, he went off too, because all those women turned his heart. Okay, so this is why we had to go through this. That's why I said the whole head was sick, and if the head is Yahawashi, then that's how we know he's the one who made us go off. But not willingly, it had to be a part of prophecy. Okay? So this is Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 18. And it reads, thus saith the Lord, Yahawah, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and will have mercy on his dwelling places. This is what we're entering into. And the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace therein shall remain after the manner thereof. And that's the hope that we have, that the Lord is rebuilding the tabernacle of King David, and he's starting spiritually. Okay? And you know how it says, how I said all the kings fell off, right? All the kings fell off, and we know that King Solomon was one of those. Okay? And we know that he was Yahawashi. These people who were rooted in the truth, you know, we know that was Yahawashi being reincarnated to do more of his will to defeat death. Okay? He had to come back several times. Okay, but we're going to read this to show that he had to pay for those sins too. Okay, those sins that he did, he had to come back as Yahawashi and be sinless, but he still had to pay for those sins, man. We're going to look right here. It says, Hebrews chapter 7, verse 24, but this man, because he continueth forever, hath an unchangeable priesthood, right? Right? That's talking about Yahawashi. Wherefore he is able also to save them, right? That's talking about Yahawashi. To the utmost that come unto the Most High by him, right? Because we know we can't get to the Father without Yahawashi. So we know it's a Yahawashi. Seeing he never liveth to make intercession for them, seeing he ever liveth, right? For such as an high priest became us, who was wholly harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, who needeth not daily, as those high priests, to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins, right? He had to pay for his sins too, that he did when he was Adam, and when he was Isaac, and when he was King Solomon. Okay, he had to pay for those sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once when he offered of himself. That's how we know he came back. That's reincarnation, man, right there. He had to go pay for it, but he paid for ours too. Verse 28, for the law maketh men high priests, which have infirmity, but the word of the oath, which was since the law, maketh the Son, who is consecrated forevermore, man. Okay? This is why you need teachers, man. We would never knew that, man. You need the teachers and the elders of Apostle Great Millstone, man. Okay? We need these men. Okay? I would have never known that. That ain't from me, man. Okay? I got elders, man. And I'm glad I do. I'm very thankful I do. So I got 2 more articles. And I ain't got a lot of precepts, and I'm going to get out of here. I know y'all been here bearing with me for a little bit. The water for everybody on the comment board. Bahasham, Barak, to all you sincere brothers doing the work that's coming on the comment board, posting precepts, and Barak Atham to all who are coming and watching, who comes on the comment board. So now, this was something interesting I wanted to bring up. You got this guy right here, this Charles Finney. He's a contributor to the news articles, right? And you know, he looks like an Edomite, but he might be a Jake. Who knows? He might just be a confused Jake, because he put in this thing that's talking about America, the godless society, and the lessons of history. So since we're talking about history repeating itself, I wanted to read through this, and I might put in a couple precepts to add on to it, but I might just, you know, roughly paraphrase them out. So it says, today we gather to reflect upon the topic that has been concern for believers throughout the ages. And doesn't it say to consider the days of old? Ask thy elders, and they shall tell thee, right? The wise of the godless society, talking about America, Babylon the Great, and the lessons we can glean from history. See, these are supposed to be for a time for our learning, what not to do. In a world where secularism and atheism seem to be on the rise, many antichrists, many anti-Mashiach, so which how you really say that, anti-Mashiachim, is essential for us to turn the pages of the Bible to find guidance, solace, and understanding. But how do we find those 3 things? From the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. We shall delve deep into the scriptures, particularly the King James version of the Bible, to shed the light on its crucial issues. So some of these people are looking for the Lord, and they looking, and they got a zeal of the Most High, but they don't have it according to knowledge. Okay, and we're going to see as you go down. So the godless society defined. Before we delve into the lesson of history, we must understand what we mean by a godly society. A godless society is one where the Most High, which is Yahawah, and his teachers are pushed aside, and they are pushed aside here. But they don't push aside Jesus Christ. They got fucking churches all over the motherfucking place. You know, they don't put that aside. They push Yahawah, Bahasham, and Yahawashi aside throughout the whole society. Okay, you cannot find that in a building and people are talking about it. Okay, we're all on the highways and byways, and not our homes doing it. Where a man places his own desires, ideologies, and beliefs above those of the Almighty, right? Didn't it say lovers of themselves? And then also talked about how they shall be thinking themselves to be teachers and have itching ears. Okay? Bring themselves swift destruction, like them false prophets that we were talking about the other day. Such a society often forsakes the moral and ethical values laid out by the Most High in favor of worldly pursuits. And that's all they is, worldly pursuits. the cautionary tale of ancient Israel. Let us turn to the Old Testament, to the history of the Israelites, as our first lesson in understanding the consequences of a godless society. So we seen the consequences of a godless society last time. Why is it happening this time? Because why? Time and time again, the Israelites strayed from the path of righteousness. That's why we're here today. Okay? Turning to idols and pagan gods. What's that pagan gods? Roman pagan gods. All the days of the week are named after Roman gods. That's how we know we're in the revived Roman Empire. Forsaking the one true God. He said one. He know there's only one, but he don't know his name, which is Yahawah, who had delivered them, who's that? Israel, from slavery in Egypt. Okay? And that says he's going to deliver us this time too. So he said, Judges 21:25. It says, in those days there was no king of Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. See, so there was a falling away first, and we were all sinning against the Lord. Why? Because that's what Yahawashi did. He fell away too. So that's why that part passed. So this verse encapsulates the chaos ensued when the Most High was pushed aside and society followed its own desires. And that's what's going to happen to everybody this time. They're going to follow their own desires and get destroyed. The Israelites faced an adversary of suffering as a result for their disobedience. That's why we're suffering. The Most High allowed them to be conquered and enslaved by foreign nations. See, the foreign nations weren't strong. The Lord allowed them. They ain't got no strength. Their history serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of a godless society. So we'll talk about the words of the prophets. The prophets in the Bible, like Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah, were often called to deliver messages warning to societies that had turned away from the Most High. Now, who is warning Israel of the destruction coming right now? All we know is the elders of the Apostle Great Millstone. Everybody else telling you to build houses and be married and make bread and all this other stuff that's not even pertaining to a warning. Okay, they're not warning you of what happens if you got the wrong doctrine. They're not warning you if you teaching something wrong, you can get destroyed. Okay, they're not teaching you the intercontinental ballistic missiles. And nobody was teaching about the elect except Great Millstone for a long time. Now you got a couple other people talking about it, but they still going off and way other things. So in Jeremiah 2:13, the Most High laments, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken the fountain of living waters, right? And hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. And that's how 2/3 is. They can't hold in this truth. They can't keep none of this understanding. This imagery betrays the fertility of pursuing worldly desires over the relationship of the Most High. That's why we put this first. Ezekiel chapter 22 verse 30. It says a powerful message, and I sought for a man among them that should take up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy, but I found none. So he had to destroy, because why? Because we fell away. But now you got the elders and apostles that are standing up. Okay? They're standing up now because that time has passed. So that's how we know the end is near, because a lot of the stuff is already passed. So the New Testament perspective, turning to the New Testament, we found that the apostles, Yahawashi, who they be calling Jesus, himself also warned of the dangers of a godless society. In 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5, Paul writes, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own self, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, they spiritual parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despiser of those which are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers, pleasures more than the lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Right? These words are a warning remarkably relevant to our modern era. See? It's happening right now. They paint a picture of society where self-centeredness and worldly pleasures take precedence over godliness, the hope for redemption. While the lessons from history and the scripture can be sobering, we must not lose hope. The Bible teaches us that even in the darkest of times, the Most High is willing to forgive and restore a repentant heart. That's why repentance is a very big deal. Okay? You got to repent from this stuff. But what does it say about Esau, Edom? They can't repent. We're talking about the other 16 nations. They can't repent. Okay, only Israel can repent because the laws and statutes were given for them to follow. Everybody else, it was not given to them. Okay, 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14, we read, if my people are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. But that healing starts with our bodies. This promise is a beacon of hope for those living in a godless society. If we humble ourselves, seek the Most High, and turn from our wicked ways, He is willing to forgive and heal our land. But this isn't even our land. He said we in a strange land. He ain't healing this place. He's going to blow this motherfucker up. Okay, he's going to blow some other places up too, but He's going to heal the land of Israel. So this is the last one as our role as believers. I know this was long, but the Lord wanted me to deal with all of it. As believers in the Mashiach, we have a crucial role to play in a godless society. So we've got a crucial role to be pushing this work. We are called to be light in the darkness, to stand firm in our faith, and to proclaim the truth of Yahawah's word. That is our job over everything. Okay? We just do these other jobs so we can have enough money to come do this. Yahawashi tells us, Matthew chapter 5 verse 14, ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel. You know, people ain't doing no videos, not going highways and byways, not doing the work, but on a candlestick, and give it light to all that are in the house. And that's why He said He will search Israel with candlesticks through His men. Let your light also shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And how do we let them see our good works? Through the unicorn. That's how we do it. The internet. The good works are unwavering faith that serve as a testimony. And they will talk about those in Revelation chapter 20 verse 4. Those ones that get their head chopped off for this testimony. So you can't be no weenie. You got to be ready to serve the Lord and to die for the Lord if you got to. To those around us, it is through our actions guided by Yahawah's love and grace. See, we can't do it without His love and His grace. That we can bring hope and change to a godless society. But we're not trying to bring hope and change to the godless society. We're trying to bring hope and change to Israel. In conclusion, the history of humanity is marked by periods of godliness and disobedience, often resulting in suffering and adversity. And He said He'll give us the bread of adversity and rod of affliction because of what we did. However, the Bible provides us with guidance and hope. It teaches us that even in the darkest times, the Most High is willing to forgive and heal if we turn and repent our hearts. As believers, we are called to be a beacon of light to a godless society, so we can find out whoever else is the light and is supposed to be doing it so they can get blown up. Standing firm in our faith and proclaiming the truth of Yahawah's word. Let us remember the words of 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 2. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke. When you got to call out some certain people. Exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. May we be with unwavering faith, fervent in prayer, and committed to living out teachings of a Mashiach in the world so desperately needs the light of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's love. Amen. Okay? So, just to see somebody who's not even, giving double honors to those in the apostles of great millstone, not teaching, it's just to show you that these people, they know what's coming. They know America is finna be destroyed, man. Okay? We can go in there and spit out the bones and show what's going on. So let me get this, and then we done. Only got about 5 precepts on this, and then I'm done. Y'all know I usually do about an hour, So now I want to also pull up some that Akia, one of the brethren, did. This is Romans chapter 8 verse 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath the same subjected in hope. The water. Yeah, the water. Pulling that up for me. So now we're going to go back over here. It says, flesh-eating bacteria may be in hurricane idolot flood waters. And we know that all this flood water mess around and be in the faucets too. And that's more than just, drinking out of your faucet, your water faucet, It's also like if you take a shower, man, this stuff is serious. This is a serious situation. Okay? This is dangerous. That's why you got to pray to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi every day. Especially, we got brothers out there in Florida, man. We want the Lord to protect them, so we're supposed to be praying for the elect. Okay? Myself first and foremost, I need to be doing more prayer. So, it said, at least 7 Floridians have died from it, including 2 hills Hillsborough, and one in Pasco, Polk, and Sarasota counties. With Hurricane Ian, 74 cases and 17 deaths were reported. So this is not something that's been, fairly new because of other hurricanes. Okay, so we're just gonna see if it'll let us play the video a little bit and put in some precepts, and then I gotta get going to the plantation. Y'all know what it is. So we might just read it. It ain't looking like it's playing. It says 1 week after Hurricane Idalia made landfall, medical experts are watching for potential cases of Vibrio vulnificus. That's how you say that's Slovakia. Bacteria found in brackish waters. We're keeping our eyes and ears open in the patients coming to our hospital. And if it's anything like Hurricane Ian, we are likely to see cases popping up here in the North Florida in the coming of these coastal regions. Dr. Norman VETT, assistant professor of medicine at the University of Florida College Medicine's Division of Infectious Diseases and Global Medicine, said people who waded into Hurricane Idalia with flood waters or walked through the flood homes begin to clean up and be at risk for infection in the bacteria that many people commonly called flesh-eating bacteria got into an open wound or a cut, man. Okay, it's you anywhere you walk in the water, man. Okay, right now over there, in a lot of places. So you can go watch some videos on that. There's a lot of it. See if it'll play it. It should only be like a minute. Oh, okay. Come on now. Yeah. It's alright. There's the article if y'all want to go watch it. They might show you a couple of people who got infected, whatnot. We're going to get in this and go ahead and get out of here. This is Exodus chapter 15, verse 26. And it reads, let's go to 25. And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made statute for them, a statute of ordinance, and there he proved them, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy power, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and will do that which is right in thy sight, I wilt give ear to his commandments and keep all his statutes right now to the best of our abilities. I will put none of these diseases upon thee, for which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord Yahawah that healeth thee. So this is why we're doing these things, because we want these curses to come up off of us and bring to them, because we know this is, in Exodus we first had a chance to not receive these plagues, but we received these plagues after we went off. So we have these curses right now, but the Lord is removing them from Jacob over time, and he is giving them to these heathens. That's why we're seeing this kind of stuff happen to them. Okay, because we're what? Turning our All right, Salakia had something happen. Salakia, the water for bearing with me. Go back. Come finish this off. So, as I was saying, we want him to turn these plagues and these diseases and whatever we got going on, because every Israelite doesn't have all the curses. Some of them have different curses. Okay, but all of us are taking a part of this wrath, and we want the Lord to bring that off of us and put that on to them, man. Okay, and that's by seeking the Lord with everything you got. This is Matthew chapter 8, but it starts with the mind. Matthew chapter 8, verse 16. Then the rest of the body can be purified. And keep your eyes single. This is Matthew chapter 8, verse 16, and it reads, when the even was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick. And he was doing that, we know physically. And today, in this time, we're doing it spiritually, okay? Because he's not going to remove the curses off of us until Yahawashi comes back, man. He's not going to completely take them away until we have that reunion with him. That's why he has to send people back like Michael the Archangel and other angels to come protect us, man. Because we're going to have these curses still on us, and we're going to need them to protect us. But he's going to be removing them during that period. That's why I said those who mourn now will laugh later, okay? Because we will see that salvation, if we are of the elect. Verse 17, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, which is Isaiah, saying, himself took our infirmities and bare our sicknesses. And that's what the Lord did. He took our infirmities and bared our sicknesses by being sacrificed for us, okay? And that's how we were able to become his sons and his daughters, okay? Because we went through the same thing he went through, but a way lighter affliction. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 17, but we also did the work, okay? The work and the faith, because faith without works is dead. So if you don't do no work, then you don't got no faith. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 17, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, Yahawashi, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Okay? And that's how they are here. They look at us as outcasts. And I got 3 more precepts after that, but I want to go and I want to pull this up real quick. In the blue letter Bible, when it says outcast, okay? Because when you have things where it says in the middle of like a precept and something's capitalized, it's something specific, and it's something good to be edified about. So, I try to at least look up a couple words, in my lesson. So I'm going to go over here. Whew. Okay, and this is the kind of thing that's going to happen. It's going to restore us, the same time that everybody else is being destroyed, Lord willing. Called us outcast, right? Let's see what that says. Says to impel, thrust, drive away, banish. These are things that happen to us. To impale, to thrust away, banished. To be impaled, to be thrust out. To be banished, outcast. To be driven away, to be thrust away. Thrust aside. That's how they look at us. They put us to the side like we're not important. To thrust, move, impale. To thrust out, to thrust away. To be chased. Be hunted, chased, hunted. That's really what's going to come in Jacob's troubles. A lot of us going to be chased and hunted too, man. Okay? We got to have the spirit of the Most High.
Strong's H, 5080. Not that.
Okay, right? So, but, you know, when you really think about it, when they don't pay us no mind, it's really him hiding us from the wicked. Okay? Because if they really knew that if they knew who the elect was, the elect couldn't even go out to the highways and byways. They get killed, man. So that's why nobody knows who they are. It's a protection. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 60. And we know this is part of the curses. And it reads, moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Okay, and this is like, you know, stuff that's not even mentioned in the Bible, like herpes, syphilis, chlamydia, all these different things. Okay, they have clinged to some of us in Israel, you know, and brought us shame. But the Lord is going to redeem us from that stuff, man. Lord willing. The ones that are dealing with it. Okay, this is all mentioned in the scriptures to happen, man. All of us have our infirmities. That's why we're supposed to be understanding and aid our brothers through their infirmities, whatever they are. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 15. And it don't always have to mean that kind of infirmity. It could be he deal with, a drinking problem, or, over drinking too much, or maybe he has a soft heart for women. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that he's necessarily wicked. It's just that's the infirmity that the Lord put on that brother, and you got to bear with him and improve with him when your infirmities. That's what y'all supposed to do. Strengthen each other to be ready for Jacob's trouble. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 15. And the Lord will take away from thee all sicknesses, even the one, all different types of ones. And I will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt which thou knowest upon thee, that will lay upon, but will lay them upon all that hate thee. Okay, so that's all we say. You want to hate Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi? The Lord's going to give you over to these demons, man, because that's what sicknesses and disease is. It's demons. Okay? And they cleaving on to Israel right now, and they got a lot of us, going through a lot of trials and whatnot. But if we endure and we fight those demons, this spiritual battle, then the Lord will just cause them to drive away from us and then put them on the heathens. John chapter 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart, which is your mind, be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Because we know why. Because we know that in the end, all Israel will be saved. We're just hoping to get saved on this side. So whatever happens, it's all just a bad nightmare, man. We'll come out of here sooner than later. So shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. I want to give all praise to Barak, Yahawashi. Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, led me to this truth. Been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray fast, and show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect and to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we part of that number. Lord willing, to be edifying those who fear the name of the Lord and striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5, it is not slack. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9 is unto a ring. 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 42. So why abal, the water for tuning in. Man, blessing and relation be on your houses, you sincere believers out there. Lord, when this edifying to the flock. Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom.